ginger.
Right. Hello. I look extra ginger, apparently. Oh, there we go. Look, to be fair, it's not me. I don't change any settings in OBS. I just come back on, open the program up, and it's like, nah, your audio's not going to work today. Because reasons. That's it. What are you doing, Dan? Having a wee and faffing around. That's what I'm doing.
I'm not teaching, but I could be. I could probably do a better job.
Piss off. All right, you come and do this then. I'm going to go and relax over here. The stage is yours.
Hold on. Right. Hello guys, my name's Crumbleski. Today's video features Crumble.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. I mean, you're not wrong. Today's video does actually feature the cat. Oh, dear me. Hey, Rihanna, Kitty, indeed. Yeah, so we're doing Premiere Pro today. This is going to be like a crash course introduction. And there's obviously loads of ways you can do this. You know, I could open up a YouTube video that I do, talking head, screen capture. But I don't know if that's very fun. So I thought, well, why don't we involve the cat? So we're going to do something a little bit more lighthearted today. And we're going to do a video for Crumble's Big Day Out. So we've actually got some B-roll that we shot probably, what, an hour ago of the cat. And we're going to try and tell a story. And as we do that, we're going to learn Premiere Pro from the ground up. That's the plan anyway. And it's a nice change for me as well, because I edit tutorial videos every flipping day, it seems like. So to actually just make a little, very, very short story is going to be fun and a nice change of pace for me. So first of all, I'm going to, actually no, let's grab the files. So there we go. Got the folder. This is how I would typically set up any Premiere Pro project, because a lot of the stuff that you import into Premiere, you're not actually like embedding those files in the Premiere file. Premiere is linking to where they are on your computer. So if you move a file or rename it, it's going to go missing, and Premiere Pro is going to have a fit and say, oh, what's going on? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? And you can relink it. But this is why it's always a good idea to just bundle everything together from the start. So I've got my folder for the project, Crumble's Big Day Out. And then I typically I'll have the Premiere file in here. So we'll go and make that in a minute. And then I've got a links folder. This is everything that is going to be linked to the Premiere Pro project. That's the kind of whole linking thing I just mentioned. So we'll do a little bit of After Effects later on. We'll try and find a way to crowbar an animation in there. Footage. We've got some footage here of the cat. He's a beautiful little boy. So we'll try and get that in there. And then we've got the this one here, this can be sound effects, music, effects, textures, all that stuff. I just bundle it in the links folder because it's going to be linked in that project and imported in. The prep folder is kind of stuff that isn't directly going to be in the actual Premiere profile, but it's still relevant. So let's just say we animate an After Effects logo later on. That will all go in the links file, but the actual design of the logo, the raw file, will be an Illustrator file, and it will just go in the prep folder. Other stuff that I put in here, normally it might be like a client brief, notes, references, inspiration, all the preparation stuff. So yeah, there's obviously a very quick and dirty logo there. The sound is out of sync. Does it still look out of sync?
It's okay for me.
It's okay. Oh, hang on. I do have Dropbox syncing. Let's pause that. Yeah, that might help. Crumble's Big Day Out on the sofa because it's raining outside. I mean, ironically, you know, Crumble sitting on the sofa, that is a big day out for him. So
An adventure for him.
it's an
With a camera
adventure.
in his face.
Yeah. I mean, we did relocate him to the sofa and like put him on the cushion and pose him. I don't think we were going to get him to go to sleep.
Still a bit off. But I'll get over it.
Still a bit off. Let me investigate.
You Costa.
Yeah. It might sort itself out. It might sort itself out. Yeah, I think it sorted itself out. It's because I probably had Dropbox running, the idiot that I am. Hey, Reese.
I burnt my food.
Still a bit off, but I'll get over it. I mean, do you mean the sound or me? Am I a bit off? Sorry, there's not much I can do about that. Absolutely, Shadow. Yeah. Right. So first of all, we're going to create our Premiere Pro file. So let's go and open this up. And you'll get the welcome screen. Just go ahead and click New. Just decided to load this on a different screen. There we go. You'll see this thing here. This is a more recent addition. Just skip import mode. This is like a mode that was added that no one asked for, that just lets you grab all your footage and dump it in. But we're going to do that anyway. So we'll just call our project Crumbles Big Day
Sofa.
on sofa. Yeah. Okay. Crumbles Big Day Out. So I'm going to put the Premiere Pro file in this project folder. Template none. Clog icon. No, ignore that. Create. Boom. There we go. What, the giblets? Oh, that's definitely not me. Yeah, literally, OBS just cut the sound off. Oh, just as Premiere open. Right, okay. There's probably some sort of permissions thing playing around in the background. Pops, you might have to keep an eye on the chat.
Yeah. I'm here for you guys.
Oh, the Discord was bonkers last night. Does it matter if the source material are in multiple folders, or once one doesn't move the files, it's okay? No, the source material that you're linking to can be absolutely anywhere. It could be on your computer. It can be on an external drive. But of course, if you ever try to move the files, it will cause a problem. What you can do is at the end of a project, you can go to Project Manager and you can package the whole thing up into like a bundle. So if you do end up working like with linked files on your desktop and it gets a bit hectic, you can just go at the very end to Project Manager and bundle everything up. But we'll come back to that later if I think of it. But yeah, so then when I would like finish a YouTube video, I would package everything together and then put that onto the hard drive and then back it up and forget about it. Right, I've actually got a list of things here that... Okay, how to start a new project, where to save it. Right, I've done that. Importing video, audio, and images. Okay, so here we've got the project panel. So we can click on this, or you can just double click anywhere within this panel, or go to File and then down to Import. All the same shtick. And first of all, we're going to grab the footage, and we're just going to import all of this. And it tells you frame rate and other useful information. So with this workspace here, what we've got is we've got the main window here, this is going to be where we'll see a preview of our video. We've got the source. So if I were to double click the thumbnail for this one, for example, you can see it will load this clip up here, and I can scrub through. Testing 1 2 1 2. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It must be. It's got to be something in Premiere Pro. I've never had it cut out like this. I think Premiere Pro must be default input. I'll change the default input for Premiere Pro because it might be trying to use the microphone. So it might be trying to fight over using the microphone. It's one of them days. Yeah, I mean, I could switch to a different microphone, but if it's a problem with that, I trust Premiere Pro to cause a problem. None of the other apps cause one. Oh, did ChatGPT go down as well?
It did.
Oh my
It went
God.
for a day or a night or something.
A day or 5 minutes. So we've got the different panels here. It's all right. We'll keep going. We'll just have to try and go into technical troubleshooting mode. Don't worry too much about all of this. There's loads of these panels here that you can open up in the Windows menu. I think this workspace gives us a lot of the main ones. We've got a properties panel here, which is contextual, so very similar to what you would have in like Illustrator or Premiere, Photoshop. Effect controls, that's not going to be big enough at all. But we'll come back to that in a minute. I might have to relocate that panel somewhere. But this enables us to edit any effects. So we can search and apply effects here, and then we control those effects in the effects panel. Lumetri color, this is how you do color correction. Again, we'll come back to that. You've probably noticed that everything looks horrible at the minute. And oh look, the scroll bar's not working either. Oh my God, what is this shit show? Why is the what? The scroll bar just doesn't do anything. It's a useless scroll bar. Honestly, I feel like me and Premiere Pro, we've got a love-hate relationship. Essential sound. This can be very useful if you're not an audio person, and this is more about generating captions, but we're going to create text another way as well. Is there should be sound? Yeah, the sound is, I can see the sound here. Whenever it cuts out, it shows it for me and I can see it on screen. So it could be on mute. Can you please tell me how do I properly limit my audio to 24 LUFS and not make it sound very low? Oh, you're back. Okay. I can see sound. Yes, I can see sound. Oh, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. How do I limit my audio? I mean, there's ways that you can limit your audio. So when we go back to the essential sound panel, you'll be able to see some of the settings related to loudness. There is a setting where you can normalize as well. 24 LUFS. That's like a video standard, isn't it? Just to kind of preface this, I'm not like a video person. I've just learned a lot of this because I make YouTube videos. So if there's very technical video questions, there's probably hopefully someone else in the chat that will be able to answer it. But I still very much feel like a beginner when it comes to Premiere Pro, but you know, I know enough that I'm
It's fine. If you need any help, I can help you.
Sod off. Hey Jesse. So these are all of our panels. And then down here, we've got the toolbar. And this is the main timeline. And then you can monitor your audio over here. We can adjust all of this, by the way. So you can, you know, squish all this around. I've not got a massive amount of space on this screen. I've got the resolution quite big so you can see what I'm actually doing, but we can pull this out and you kind of see the left and right speakers a bit more here. So I also want to learn Premiere Pro video editing from zero to hero with you, bro. Excellent. Fantastic. You are in the right place. Hopefully. We'll see. We'll see if this turns out to be any good. Okay. Let's consult my little list. Brief look at the workspace. Yeah, all right. Let's just get in and make something. So let's go back to the project panel here. And we're going to just look at our clips. So we can sort these by name. In fact, we can create a new folder as well. If we open this up, we get a few more icons. So we'll just call this footage and drag that in there. And then we can go and give that like a nice color. Oh, rose, there we go. But we actually need to go and make a timeline. So you can just grab a clip, drag it there, and it will generate, it's not called a timeline, it's called a sequence. But the sequence will load on the timeline. So we could do that, or what we can do if we undo it a few steps, we can go to File, New, and then down to Sequence. Think of this as like creating an artboard in Illustrator. You know, you could have multiple artboards within a project. And the same is true in Premiere Pro. You can have multiple sequences in a project. In fact, you can even have sequences inside sequences, which can get very complicated. So we're just going to skip all the presets and go straight to settings. So frame rate. I think I shot it at this one, but I'm just going to stick it on 24 frames a second to make it easier. But you might want 30, you might want 60 if you're doing something that's you want like a really smooth shot or a smooth cursor movement. But we'll go 24, 19, 20. This is all fine, blah, blah, blah. Yep. Audio sample. I always use this one here, but there's no reason why you couldn't use 48,000 hertz. Yeah, definitely not an audio guy. And I don't really know too much about the difference between these. So we're just going to stick with this. Yeah, this is more than fine. Color management as well. We will, what we're going to do, we'll leave that set there. Yeah, so you can see it all looks really grey and horrible. The reason is, and we're not going to get too complicated with this, there's a way that you can shoot video on a camera called S-Log. There's lots of other ones as well, but S-Log is the one that I usually shoot my YouTube videos in. And the best way to try and describe S-Log is when you film with a camera. So this is your like camera. And you film your picture. This is like the band of all the available colors and the color data that your camera can capture. And the more data and color information that can be captured in the shot, the better quality your end result is. Or maybe the darker the blacks will be, or the lighter the highlights will be. You'll just have more color data across the whole thing. Whereas when you shoot in something like S-Log, which is a picture profile, the camera is actually able to shoot the shot and capture more data. Now it looks grey and rubbish and washed out. It's like a flat picture profile. But what if this is all of the data that shooting normally captures? Let's change color here. We'll go for magical blue. When you shoot with a flat picture profile in something like S-Log, I think S-Log is specific to a Sony camera, but they all have their own kind of one. Your camera is actually able to capture more color data. So you see, oh, I've changed this one now. There we go. All right, back to blue. So you see all this extra data here. All of this gets captured. And the downside is it looks a little bit crap when you film it. But when you come to color correct it in post, or in like editing, post-processing, what you're able to do is then bring that detail back. Does that make sense? S-Log, I'm not going to go into S-Log because I'm barely scratching the surface with it, and it's complicated, but I think I've just about got a handle on it, and it can actually give you a much better end result. But it's just hard to get your head around because you're shooting and it looks grey and washed out and horrible. The main thing to consider when shooting S-Log is on your... Yeah, is it similar with photos, shooting photos raw? I'm not sure, Paul, but yeah, with video, you just shoot it in that grey picture profile. But you have to make sure that your exposure monitor on the camera, normally you would aim for 0, so it's correctly exposed. With S-Log, you need it to be like between 1.7 and 2.0 overexposed. It's really weird. So you actually shoot it overexposed by like 1.7 to 2 stops, and then you bring it down in post. It's really complicated. But that's just a quick explanation if you're wondering why the colors look washed out and everything. So we've got a new sequence here, and you can see it's in the project panel. I'm going to call this, we'll call it Crumbles Magical Timeline. There we go. And then we could start dragging our clips on, or we could drag them all on. Or we could load one of these clips in the source window and we could scrub through it. Now we've got 19 seconds of the cat. We don't really want that. So we're just going to, maybe we'll grab this bit here where he looks at the camera. I'm just making this up, by the way. I've got no idea how this is going to turn out. So we need to add our start and end points, and we can do that here with these brackets. So I'm going to add an out point there, scrub back, and then maybe add my in point here. And then what I can do, now I've isolated just this one part of the clip. I could drag the video onto the timeline, or I could just click this icon here and it will plonk it in with the audio as well. So there's a few different ways that you can do it. The reason you would do this is it's just a bit easier than, rather than dumping everything in and then going through and cutting it and everything. So you can kind of just go through the clips, find the bit you want, and then just build your timeline out of the pieces that you need. Because some of these are a bit rubbish. Oh, look at that little, oh, he's adorable. Okay, so there we go. I just want the little eye blink, a little quick shot of the blink. There's no audio, so I'm just going to drag the clip in here. Hey friends, I've come up for air as I'm drowning in work. Hope everyone's doing well. Hey, I can breathe. Is the audio still working? Why is it? What the hell? Why is it still working? It must have been that change I made. I'm gonna give myself credit here, possibly prematurely, but I'm gonna. Yeah, I think Premiere Pro was trying to wrestle the mic off OBS, and OBS was like, "Can you just piss off and leave me alone? We've got work to do here." Premiere Pro was like, "Give me the mic." Right, what do we got in this one? We literally shot this like half an hour before the stream. I was like, quick, stick the cat on the sofa.
Oh, he's so cute.
Okay, we've got another little head turn there, so we'll grab that. We'll plonk him in. If we need more of that shot, we can hover over either end, and you see the red arrow? We can actually extend this out, so it's not like we literally cut into the clip. We might not need all of these. We need to try and tell a story though, and I'm not entirely sure what the story is because he spent the entire day, or in this shot, on the sofa. We were going to get him to eat some cat food, but we got a panning shot there, which is a bit wibbly wobbly on the old steadiness, but we might be able to fix that. So we'll dunk that in there.
I think he performed quite well.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I mean,
Stop the music.
Broke down my loot and then kicked in my teeth. Now that the fools are
Oh,
right, sorry. Okay. Okay, right. I'll turn the music off. We're going to be using some music from Envato anyway, and browsing music, so the stream's going to get demonetized and claimed to hell anyway, so who cares? Okay, hopefully you shouldn't hear that now. I've turned that off, but I must remember to turn the music back on when we get to that bit. Oh, I'm having a great time. Right, what are we doing? Number 5. Okay, so we've got like an overhead shot here. Cat looks up, beautiful. Oh. We've already got a few shots of him looking, so I might. Toss a coin to your witcher. Oh, roar! Nice lion roar. We could edit in there.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. We can actually reverse these as well. So we could actually. I'm kind of stepping away and zooming out. We could zoom in and do like a lion's roar. That would be hilarious. I don't know if that'll work or not. We can make that work. And of course, you can drag these as well. If you want to have them in a different order to tell a different story, you can move things around. Right, let's speed this up nice and quick. Oh, look at it. Cat's like, look at him breathing. It's like vibrating.
Oh, yeah.
God, he really does shake his entire body when he breathes, doesn't he? And these are all static shots as well. Well, most of them. Some of them I'm actually doing camera movement. Like this one. But some of the ones that are static, we can add our own movement into the shots as well. So,
Yeah, David Attenborough style narration.
hey?
Should have a David Attenborough style narration.
Oh, yeah, we'll do a voiceover as well. Premiere Pro, I'll try and use the mic. It might get complicated with Premiere Pro, but if we could do a voiceover. Here we see Crumble the cat, sat on his sofa, minding his own bloody business. And then this is him smushing me in the face. Got Poppy over there by the piano. We got the children. And Crumble's tail. So we could kind of start there and have that as a bit of a transition. A little head boop.
Oh.
Okay, 9. The camera span back the other way. We could use that as a transition as well. There's a clever little trick where you can use things like this. Like if you're filming something and you're just going to stop filming. So like I'm filming something here. Just do this at the end. In fact, just do this a bunch and capture footage of that in all different directions, because that little flick, if you isolate that sudden flick, it's like half a second, you can actually use that as a transition to blend other clips together. Can't remember where I learned that, probably Peter McKinnon or someone, but it's such a useful trick. And then we got cuddles, kitty cuddles, and a big shake and a little tongue lick. So, okay, those are our clips. We're obviously going to slice that up. And we can select all of these and we can move them around the timeline. Now I'm going to give myself a little bit more space here, which might make that smaller. So we've got V1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this can keep going up as much space as you've got. This is effectively our timeline, and we have the video tracks going up from that midpoint, and then we have the audio tracks going down. So all the audio's down here, video's up here. We're going to be doing a lot more video work than audio at the moment, so I'm actually going to pull that midpoint down. I don't need to worry about audio right now, but I might want to right-click and add another audio track. So now I've got a fourth one.
Your camera's in the way. Possibly.
So yeah, these are the video tracks, audio tracks, and then I can adjust this. So if I'm going to do some more audio work, I'll move this up. I've got all this space here. This helps if you've got a bigger display or if you're working at like a higher resolution. Because I'm going to be doing the audio stuff later, I'm just going to create more tracks here. So you can add like loads of video tracks. And you could think of these as layers. They work in the same way. If I put something on top on V2, it's going to be in front of layer in front of V1. So now, keyboard shortcuts. There's a few of these that they behave in a very... Premiere Pro by default has some specific shortcuts, but there's some changes I've made that have made it so much easier. So one is full screen. I've just got to try and find it now. Toggle full screen. Go and set that to... I've got mine set to the key left of my number 1 on the keyboard. The reason I have this set is because I can just do this. It's so easy. I think they did add like a full screen thing somewhere. This plus option here, these are other additional options that you can drag onto this bar. So I think one of these might be a full screen, but still I've got to go up here and click it, whereas I can just tap and I'm straight away in full screen. So you can customize that bar there, but where are the other ones? So there's another keyboard shortcut, and I set it up for you, Pops. I can't remember what it's called. It's E and Q. I might have to find them now. But it's something I've got to show you because I didn't know this until I'd say probably about 6 months ago. I've been editing video on YouTube for over 10 years, and I didn't learn this until about 6 months ago, which is highly embarrassing and ridiculous, but it will save you so much time. So I have to find it and show you.
It makes it so much quicker.
It does. I can never remember what the damn feature's called. I know I've got it set to E. E and Q and W.
Yeah. And X as well.
Hmm?
And X.
And X, yes. So I'm going to take a second just to try and... There we go. This is what you want to search for. Ripple, trim, next, edit to playhead. Have that to E, this one here. Have that set to Q. If you just kind of follow this and set it up, I'll show you why in a minute. And then you can save this as a preset. So I've got like my custom one here. And save as... Oh, I might be able to export this actually. I wonder if I can save it as a preset. I wonder if I can export it. I don't know. There must be a way. But yeah, so E and Q, definitely want to do that. Then we need W. W, W, W. And X. W and X we're looking for. It's just such a long-winded feature name. I can never remember what it's called. Double W, W. Let's type W and see if that comes up. Would it be split? It might be split. No. Maybe cut. Pops, you couldn't chat GPT it, could you?
What am I ChatGPT?
In Premiere Pro, what is the feature called that will add a split where the playhead is? I know what X is, I think. Ripple. Yeah. So ripple delete. You want to search for that? Set that to X.
Razor tool.
No, there's a shortcut.
C.
No, there's a shortcut key you can press that will split the clip directly. I used to select the razor tool with C and I would add my cuts, but then you have to cut across multiple layers for
V.
What's it called? The feature? I don't know what it is by default, but I've changed it to W.
You switch back to the selection tool V to move or edit. No. Press C on your keyboard to activate the razor tool. Click on the clip at the point that you want to split.
Control K. Yeah, what's the feature called though? Because I've changed mine to W. Rather than pressing Control K, which is horrible. I've got my main features set to Q, W, and E, so they're right next to each other. and it just
edit. Control plus K for Windows, Command plus K for Mac.
oh god, I'm so stupid.
What? Redo.
Someone in the chat just put, "Sir, the shortcut functions are on the keyboard above."
Okay.
That's a bloody picture of a keyboard. Oh, I'm so sorry. You'll never get that time back, you idiot, Dan. Right, yeah. Look, you know what you expect of these streams. This is the... Well done, Waylon. You just saved us. To be fair, did anyone else notice? I didn't see anyone else pointing that out, so... No. Okay. I don't think I've ever look at this, clearly. So add edit, yes. So that's what I want to do. W. So Q, W, E, and then X. Change those ones, and then have your full screen up here or whatever. You've just saved us about half an hour, Waylon. Thank you so much.
I think we might have crashed.
We've crashed.
I've crashed for some reason.
You've crashed. Have we actually crashed? Has anyone else?
Buffering.
It's buffering. That's not good. Yes, Rianne, I am that dim. Look, it's been a long week, all right? Right. So
I think it was just me.
just you. Fantastic. Oh god, the universe is against us today. My brain is against me. Thank
You're
you.
not on screen.
Oh, let's bring back my silly little face. There we go. Fantastic. Where can I put myself? I feel like I need to get myself out of the way a little bit.
Turn yourself into a circle, a small circle.
A tiny, tiny circle. How do I... Oh, oh no, there's two of me. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's hide that one. And then we'll put this one. Oh, where are we going? Right, where should we go? What?
Right in the middle.
Just right here. Right there. Okay. Oh, for goodness. Right, I'm going to go down here, okay? Is everyone all happy that I'm here? I feel like I'm facing the wrong way. Hang on. There we go. Right, I'm actually looking at the thing now. Everyone was too polite to say anything. You're all looking, thinking, "Come on, Dan, you twat. The keyboard's right there." Right.
Brianne said the world cannot handle two dance keys. I couldn't handle it.
I was just thinking that. I think Poppy couldn't handle two dance keys. Crumble could. He'd love it.
Oh, you would.
Right. Anyway, so we've got Crumble 1. So you can drag with Alt or Option, duplicate a clip. Very similar to the other Adobe apps. Now, the reason this is amazing, those keyboard shortcuts, is because I can scrub through this and press W and it will make a cut. Cut, cut, super quick. So you don't have to press C for the razor tool and pick your things. You just drag the playhead, press W, and you get a cut. And then what you can do is, you see I'm kind of dragging around the middle of the clip here and we have a cut here. Let's just say I want to trim this last little piece off. If I press E, it's going to just trim that out and close the gap. And then Q does the opposite. So it will trim back to the last cut. So it's very useful when you're like editing, like, you know, if you're talking to camera and you're going, in this video, we're going to do this thing and then this thing, and then we're going to do something else. To just trim out all of those pauses, you can literally just do this. So I'm going to go E, E, and then Q, and you can just trim out and trim out and trim out, tighten everything up. And so you get like a smooth jump cut. Very, very useful. And if you've got multiple layers as well, what you can do is you can select everything and just press W and it will cut through all of them without having to go razor cut, cut, cut. So it's a much faster way of working. And then X is ripple delete. So normally what you'd have to do is click in here, right click, ripple delete, ripple delete. With X, what you can do is just press X. So just select the gap in between, press X, and it will close the gap. It's ridiculously fast. So yeah, Q, W, E, and X, those are the ones that I use all the time, and that I showed Poppy and she was like, oh my god, this is so much better.
Yeah.
Hey Kyle, how's it going? That's how I feel as well, man. It ain't my forte, but it's cool. Yeah, yeah. I kind of just sort of fell into it through YouTube, really, and never got quite back up, whatever that means. Anyway, so we have our sequence here, Crumble's magical timeline. We can go to sequence settings. So again, a sequence is kind of like an artboard, or in Illustrator or Photoshop. We can go back into settings and we can change the resolution, the frame rate, audio, sample rate, anything like that. Does all of that make sense so far? And is there anything else people would like me to go back over, or something that I've missed? Yeah, cutting clips. Yeah, so you can use the razor tool. As I said, that's C on the keyboard. You can just add cuts manually. Drag clips to reorder them. Splitting clips, rearranging. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm just working through my little checklist here. There's also another useful keyboard shortcut as well. It's from this toolbar here, which is A. So if I wanted to kind of insert something here, I could press A and then push all of this forward and create like a gap, and then rearrange that and close the gap. So A, V, and C are probably the main ones. V is like your main selection tool, like a lot of other stuff. There's another one as well, actually, which is R. It's this one. What's it called? Something. And what I can do is I could speed the clip up. So if I drag this here with R, this clip now is going to play really fast. Or you can adjust the speed variation by right-clicking and choosing speed, duration, and change it to like 200%, and it will speed everything up, or you could slow it down. Of course, if I slow it down, it's probably going to be quite, yeah, you can see it's very jittery. So it's not exactly like a smooth shot. I've learned a lot already. None of it was in my so-called class a few years back. Oh, amazing. Oh, that's good to hear. Okay. Importing music, we'll come back to that. Adjusting volume. Right, so when we select a clip, we can go up to effect controls. I'm going to move this. So I'm going to get rid of these ones. I'm going to close these panels down. And I'm going to put this over here. And just give myself a little bit more space. Because this is something that I use quite a lot. Any effects that we add from this menu here, they're going to be listed here and you can stack them up. So by default, this is what you get. So you've got your motion effects. You can adjust the position. You can adjust the scale, rotation, all basic stuff. And then you can even crop as well. So you could do like a 50% crop and it would crop bits of the image. And then opacity and blend modes. So nothing crazy. That's like your default. Now, at the moment, you might have noticed that all of these bits of footage, they were shot at 4K, but my sequence is 1080p. So, and this is cool actually. We could have a sequence at 4K as well, but it's kind of cool if you're doing a 1080 one because it's usually more than good enough for most things. But also it means I can like get a lot more detail out. So like if I had a 4K timeline, the shot would look like this, but because I'm shooting in 4K, but I'm scaling it down to 1080p in Premiere, I get all that lovely detail, that close-up detail there. But if I want that full shot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it down to 50. You know, 50, scale 50 is like 50%. 50% of 4K is 1080p. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Now I'm going to do the same for all these clips, just so I can kind of see them all zoomed out. So what I can do is we could right click on the motion properties and click copy, or we could just select this clip, edit, copy, select everything else, and then we'll paste attributes. Now this could be a whole bunch of effects you're copying and pasting. It could just be one, like I'm doing here. You'll see more effects listed later on. So we're just going to copy everything. And then look, all of these are now scaled at 50%. So this is kind of how I shot everything at this zoom. And then what I can do is if I wanted to go and punch back in a bit here, get a nice close up, I could go and do that. But this just enables me to see every single shot. This turned out really well, considering we did this like half an hour before. I was like, the sofa has to be symmetrical. Oh, nice, Kyle. Was it helpful, the playlist? Yeah, no, I saw your design. We'll get back to some design review next week. I've got things I need to say. Right. Okay. So there's no volume yet. So we'll leave the audio stuff. We'll come back to that though. And we'll try adding a voiceover and some sound effects and some music from Envato. Fading in and out. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. What you can do is you can just hover over the end of a clip, right click, and then apply the default transition. And by default, it's a cross dissolve. And you can extend it with this icon here. So you're kind of just looking for the red icons, basically, when you hover around different bits. And you can make it fade out longer or shorter. And I'm just scrubbing here with the playhead and pressing play. You can press play there, but it's just easier to spacebar. And you could enter in a specific time there. Super long, dramatic fade in shot. Or you can just right click and set clear. Nope. Oops. How do we get rid of it? There we go. Yeah. So just make sure you hover over that end bit. And we do have effects. So we do have video transitions here. So we could grab I don't know, let's go barn doors. We'll drag that on. There we go. And you can select the transition specifically, and you should get some settings in effect controls. So you could go vertical and we could reverse it. Every effect's going to have different settings. There we go. Now we could reverse it the other way, have it open from the middle. Beautiful. So when it comes to a lot of those effects, they're the kind of thing that I would just play around with them. We'll try one more just quickly. Chroma leaks. That did nothing. Light rays, something a bit more interesting. Oof, magical. Iris wipe. I'm trying to get carried away now. Yeah, so you can see some are a bit more creative than others. So you've got all this stuff up here in effect controls. You do have it over here as well in the properties panel. So this is kind of, you could see, mirroring a lot of these properties. I've not really got used to this yet. I'll be honest. You can add your keyframes and everything here, but I still find it easier just because I'm used to doing it here. Same for After Effects. They introduced a properties panel, but I'm still very much using the old way because it's just what I'm used to. Hey Raquel, how's it going? Right. Right, I think what we're going to do now is we'll do a little bit of color correction. So we could apply the color correction directly on the clip. So we go to Lumetri color. We've got lots and lots of settings here. Oh yeah, the scroll bar doesn't work. So loads of stuff that we can play around with. This is sort of, if you used Camera Raw in Photoshop, this is like a stripped down version of that. Now, it's kind of different for me because I'm using S-Log footage. So I'll show you how to get around that. But if you're using just normal footage, then you can go in here and just, you know, you've got your basic correction. You can bump the exposure, contrast, all that stuff. What was I going to do before we get to that? Oh yeah, so if I make some changes here, you can see, we'll just do that. You can see it's added a Lumetri color effect. So it has actually added all of this in here. So you can turn that effect off and on. So as soon as you start playing around with Lumetri color, it will add one of those. And then we can just select that effect and delete it. Hey, Sunny. Yeah, honestly, color correction is really hard. I posted a link to a video in the Discord the other day where someone actually did an amazing video on how to color grade like log footage, like S-Log, in Premiere Pro, DaVinci, Final Cut. And the way he made the video was so creative as well. But it made me realize that I've been doing it wrong for forever. And it just made it so easy. So yeah, like when it comes to bringing in this footage, I think what you need to do to bring some of that color back is you can bump the contrast and the shadows. Some of these settings here. In fact, let me do it on one that's got a bit more color actually, because I'm very much used to color grading my face on camera for YouTube. So this is very different. There we go. So you can see we've got some RGB lights in the background. So this is going to be a much better indicator. So you can just crank the contrast. Play around with shadows and highlights and then bring the saturation back in, because it often gets desaturated in the process. So that's the first part of it. And then if you want to do S-Log, we need to add a second Lumetri color effect. If you're thinking, Dan, what you're talking about, what's log, S-Log, honestly, don't worry about it. This is just because I've shot this footage in S-Log. I wouldn't even, if you're new to video, I wouldn't even recommend going near it. Just shoot normal video. Like that's what I did for years and it's more than fine. So we can add another Lumetri color here. And if I just give this one a name, I'm going to call this LUT. This is just like in Photoshop when you can add a LUT. A LUT is it stands for lookup table, and you can think of this as like a color profile. And I've got a very specific LUT that will convert S-Log into Rec 709, which is kind of like a video standard. If you've got any questions about this afterwards, honestly, just hit me up in the Discord and I'll try and be as helpful as I can. So I've got somewhere library assets LUT. Yeah, it's a very specific one. So this is specifically for the profile that I shoot in. to convert that log footage. You see the difference? So that's kind of half of it. So there's the S-Log, and then there's the version with the color profile applied. But you always want to have your LUT go second. So when you add effects here, they will start to stack up. Whatever you apply here will be applied first. This next one will be applied after, and they will stack downwards. It's a bit weird. Bit different to Photoshop where you're stacking up. So you want the LUT to go at the very end of that process. That was the takeaway from that video I watched. So then this Lumetri color here, I've got to make sure I select it. This is going to be the actual color correction, and the other one is just literally the profile. So you kind of separate them out. So then, yeah, so we can play around with the saturation, bump that a little bit. Your kitty cat. So essentially, if you're not shooting in log, then it will be everything we've just done, except you won't have a log profile. You won't be adding a LUT necessarily. You can go in and you can go to creative. If I just show you here, where is it? They've got lots of profiles here, so you can kind of pick a look. You've got all of these different styles. Oof, monochrome. So lots of different styles that you can pick from. Yeah, so you see that one there kind of warms it up and brightens everything. That is quite nice, actually. Ooh, we might use that. And I could dial down the intensity a bit here as well. So if it's a bit too much, I could drop it down to like 50%. And then just toggle this to preview it. Yeah, it just brings out a bit of that color. Nice. Oh yeah, loads of settings. You've got your curves here as well. RGB curves. Which isn't letting me click it because, of course not. In fact, I think I've just added this to the wrong. Yeah, what was that? Clean Kodak A. All right. Let's get rid of that. Got to make sure I add it to this. The LUT one is literally just the LUT. That was the technique this chap used anyway. So any other color correction, I'm doing it just on this one. We'll call that Dansky color. Just otherwise it gets a bit confusing. Okay, so there we go. There's my color correction. I'm really happy with that. I want to apply that to all the other shots. So I'm just going to select this clip, Command or Control C to copy, select everything else, paste, and I'm going to uncheck everything else because if I've changed the scale on something else, I don't want to mess around with it. I just want to apply these two Lumetri color effects. And then I've now got those effects for all the color. No, After Effects is more motion graphics, Photoshop, Raquel. Premiere Pro is definitely for larger video projects. After Effects is definitely, like, I use it for shorter things. You can do like full edits in After Effects. I wouldn't ever edit a YouTube video in it. It'd just be, unless it was very, very motion graphic heavy. We'll come back to this a bit later, but what I typically do is I will work in Premiere Pro and I'll connect things from Photoshop or Illustrator or After Effects, and I will load those into Premiere Pro. Premiere's kind of like the InDesign. You know, you wouldn't necessarily do a catalog in Illustrator. You'd probably do it in InDesign because it's designed to handle lots and lots of media and it's designed to work quite quickly. Whereas would I do a poster in InDesign? No, I'd probably do that in Illustrator, kind of the equivalent of After Effects, because I've just got more creative tools. In terms of the effects, After Effects is just night and day to Premiere. There's so much you can do in After Effects. It's, yeah, as Paul said, closer to Photoshop. What's the color video you watch from Eric Lenz? He does all color grading things. I don't know. It might be. He always wears a really nice shirt. That name sounds familiar, actually. I'll look it up. Yes. Yes. Color for Creators by Eric Lenz. So this is the guy if you want to learn more about color correction. It was a great video. How did you select specific clips? So I would go 1, 2, just holding shift. Yeah, just holding shift. And then I can pick specific ones, or I can drag over this one, and then click again with shift held to unselect them. And then, yeah, so all these shots are shot very different angles, different lighting. So this one here, I might want to go in and make sure I select my color one, and I might. How am I going to brighten this up? Do I bump the exposure, but then bring down the highlights? Yeah, there we go. So all of these, you probably need to go in and just adjust everything. So I'm bumping the exposure. Oh God, he looks like a
cinnamon bun.
Hey?
He looks like a cinnamon bun.
Cinnamon? No, I was just thinking like some sort of like holy prophet cat or something, like Sphinx, or like the Egyptians. I think it's that low angle. It just makes him look powerful.
Aww.
Like look at the light blasting around. Oh, it's just beautiful. Oh my God, what does that remind you of? Andrea, what does that remind you of?
Oh, the dog.
That side-eye dog. Yeah, literally all hell crumble. He's giving you the side-eye. Yes, that's a good point. I wasn't going to get too far into that, Sunny. Where are my scopes? Lumetri scopes. So this is something else that you can play around with. It kind of tells you if your shadows and your highlights are clipping. Which one is it? Is it the waveform? I think it's this one up here. You can kind of turn different ones on and off. So if I'm gonna have to move this, aren't I? We'll pop it over here. So we're looking at, I think this is all of them together and this is all of them separately. So it's kind of the RGB, the red, green, blue in the shot. So if I crank the exposure, you see if it hits the top here at 255, the highlights are clipping. If it dips below 0, the blacks are clipping. So if I just blast this up here, you can see it's hitting the top, it's clipping. All this is kind of being blown out. This is just white. There's no color data there whatsoever. So unless you're going for like a stylistic look, you want to try and avoid that. If I grab the shadows and pull them down, or is it the blacks? Yeah, so look, watch. You see the blacks? Boom. They're going below 0. This is just black now. So there's no detail or color data in there. So I think the goal generally is to try and push. Sometimes you might have your color sort of in the middle area, and you want to try and push the lighter areas up and the darker areas down to kind of fill this whole vertical space without going beyond the top or the bottom. Does that make sense? Yes, you can edit the audio. We'll try and do some audio in a bit. So for here, I might push the highlights, but I don't want to go too high because they might start clipping, or we could adjust the exposure. So you can see here, I brought it down. There's a lot of headroom there that I've still got to use. So I can always push that up, but without going too far. So I'm very much a beginner when it comes to scopes and things, but that's my sort of takeaway. If you want to learn more about that, definitely check out Eric Lenz's videos. Very helpful. So we just got a nice little panning shot there. Yeah, so for this one, what I could do is bring down those highlights a bit and maybe push the exposure. So we're kind of brightening up everything, but those highlights, those bright spots, we're just kind of managing them a little bit more. So again, bumping the exposure, dropping the highlights. And I would spend a lot longer and I would go and check all this, but I don't want to spend too long. Bump the exposure. Yeah, there we go. Fantastic. So we got... I wonder if we could actually just... Okay, no, we'll leave that alone. So I've got my shots here. We could go and do more color work directly on the shots, or what you can do is from the project window, you can add a new layer. We've got a few different ones here. So we've got color matte, which is basically just a solid color. That's your solid color adjustment layer in Photoshop right there. Black video is just black video. Bars and tone, you'll recognize this. It's that kind of, I've just done an oopsie. That thing. And we've got adjustment layers as well. These kind of work like Photoshop. So we could drag this up here. And instead of applying our color corrections to all of these individually, we could actually just apply them all to this adjustment layer. So I could go and copy the color correction from the first one. If they're all going to be the same, I could remove everything from all the others and just paste it on the adjustment layer. And the reason this can be quite useful sometimes, obviously I've mucked up the scale now, but if I go and change that to 50, no, so, okay. Let's remove that. Yeah. So we'll just paste in the color. Let's set that back. So we're just going to paste the scale, which is under motion. There we go. There we go. So we've got that 50% scale back, and then we can click on the adjustment layer. And if I make changes to the color now, you can see it gets applied to everything. So rather than me having to change one and change the other and change the other, let's say I wanted to go for like a blue filter or something. I have to go and manually apply it, whereas adjustment layers let you just very easily apply it across everything. Or if this clip here, I wanted to have this black and white, what I could do is I could use the razor tool with C just to make a cut in that adjustment layer. Do my thing. There you go, blue. So you can slice up an adjustment layer just like you can everything else. But it can be quite useful to just have that adjustment layer manage the color or other properties across everything. It just makes it a little bit easier to change. Side-eye now as a friend. Right, I've kind of abandoned my list. Yeah, so in there we've got saturation, all sorts of color settings in there to play around with. If you've used Photoshop and, like I say, Camera Raw, Filter, or Lightroom, some of that may seem familiar. Or we could go and add a color matte. So if we just go for like a reddish pink color, and then we'll drag that in, it's a solid color. We could select this, and then from the effect controls, we could drop the opacity, or we could just change the blending mode. So we could go for something super stylized here, interject a little bit of pink. And this is great if you've got title cards or you want to just kind of give something a more stylistic look. Obviously I've gone pretty heavy with it there, but we could just dial it down. I could even change it actually. We could go back and change that color. Just go for like an orange. Just give everything like a warmer tone. Although normally I would do that with the Lumetri stuff, but you could use that as a title card as well. Oh, I should probably change that to orange now. So we could have like a solid title card here, and we could press T for the type tool. Then we could click here and add some text. Crumbles, big day out. And where do we edit the text from? They've kind of changed it recently. So effect controls, you see here we've got a new text object. Yeah, there we go. So if we select this, we get the new option at the top. So click on the text and you've got graphics. And then if we toggle this down, just move this over. Is it going to let me move that over? Yeah. We've got all these text options. This will all look familiar if you've used any other Adobe stuff. So let's just center the text. And pick a font. So I think we'll start with Crumbles. So we've got our text object here. We can change the color actually. So I could make all of the text, you know, mango, just to make it easier to see on the timeline. Right. There we go. So if we switch to the properties panel, you see this one object here on the timeline. We could duplicate that up and have another one, but it just gets very complicated when you start adding video layers. So we can have multiple ones on the same thing. So how do we do that? If we select this text object here and just copy paste as you normally would, you can see I've effectively got another layer, but it hasn't added another video track. And so this is very much like a typical layers panel. So we could then go Crumbles, big day out. And then in the properties panel, again, we've got more settings. So we could scale you up, and we'll scale you up as well. Move it around. If we go further down, we've got alignment things as well. So we can snap this, select multiple things and move them around. It's pretty straightforward, really, if you've used any other Adobe software. But doing it this way and having both of these objects within the same track just makes it much easier. Otherwise, you can end up with video layers going super high and it's Crumbles big day in. I know, this is the irony of it. There is no going out. All right, we'll get rid of it from there. Right.
Should make it Comic Sans.
Absolutely not. How dare ye? Oh yeah, you can also use the left and right arrows on the keyboard. And you can hold shift as well, and you can use this to move around the timeline. Right. So we've got some clips. I think we need to make this a bit more exciting, and we also need some music. So I'm going to turn my music back on and just hopefully remember not to start blasting out heavy metal. But we'll see. So, we've got Envato. Where are we going? Audio or music? Right, what on earth am I going to type in here? Cat? Happy, let's type happy cat. I've got no idea if that's going to... I mean, we either go that route or we make it something different. All right, catch you later, Kyle. Hey, Dilsha. Make it cutesy. Alright, we'll type in cutesy then. God. That is perfect. That is perfect. That's the one. It's adorable. And not just to bang on about Envato, but I used to use other music platforms as well that just did music, and this just always gave me the best songs. The filtering's great as well, but it's weird the amount of times that I would search for a thing and the first track is the one I end up going with. Really weird. Okay, well that is just adorable. So we're going to import that into the project panel, Command or Control I. I should be a good boy and we'll put that in the links folder just to keep everything nice and organized. So we'll just go with audio. And while we're here, any other sound effects that we need? Maybe like a lion roaring? Audio, happy, cute, love. Oh, goodness. It's disgustingly adorable. So we'll switch to sound effects and then we'll go, gotta get a meow in.
Audio Jungle.
Oh God.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Oh, this is horrible.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Oh, yuck.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Just in case.
Audio Jungle.
No.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Yeah.
Audio Jungle.
Those ones are kind of cute. They're not too bad. Some of them are horrific. And then we'll do like a lion roar as well.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Jungle. Audio. Audio Jungle.
Okay, that one's a bit long, but I might be able to cut it. Kind of want more of like a Lion King roar rather than actual lion going. Okay, so
Audio jungle.
Audio Jungle, Audio Jungle.
It's so people don't just take it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't have that when you download it.
No. I mean, although to be honest, if people are going to take it, they'll find a way. Okay, so we've got a few bits of audio there. That'll be enough for now, I think. You've got our adorable little sound track. That's just so cute. Oh, man. Right. Okay, we'll make a folder. I try and mirror the folder structure that I've got outside as well with the oh, where's it gone? I've lost it now. Yeah, all of this. So I try and mirror this kind of links structure in the document as well. It just kind of makes it easier, and then I can select and import all the audio straight into that audio folder. And let's change the audio to a totally different color. We'll go with cerulean. Just kind of makes it easier to stand out on the timeline. Where's the raw bit? So there, I'm going to try reversing that. So we'll right click, go speed duration, reverse. No, it doesn't really look like as much of a raw. So I'm just going to mute the track a second because that's going to be the easy bit. And go in and then fine tune some of these. So we're going to adjust the zoom. Remember, we can adjust the positioning like this. So rar. So this shot here is a long shot. It kind of hangs a little bit longer, which is kind of boring. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a slow zoom. And I think I'm going to zoom in a bit as well. So we'll do something like this, kind of get the positioning right. That looks good. Now, what I can do with this, if I start adding a zoom here, it's going to use all of these values, and it's going to, sometimes if you've done something crazy, it's not going to zoom. It's not going to zoom in centrally. It will zoom into the center of that image or that clip. So what I can do is I can choose nest. Now you could do this with a whole group of things. You can grab all of this and you could nest everything. And what this will do is it will just grab all of that and then put it in its own separate sequence. Think of that like a smart object. You know, you can select a whole bunch of layers, turn it into a smart object. You can still go in Photoshop, sorry. You can still go inside and edit everything individually, but it just lumps it as one layer on your layers panel. It's kind of the same here. You know, it will just lump it as one thing on the timeline. But what I can do with this to just get a zoom with this particular crop is if you look at all these values here for position and scale, I'm just going to nest this clip and we'll just call it crumble face zoom. And if I select it, it's reset these back now. So when I try and zoom in, it's just going to zoom in totally centrally, in and out, dead center like that, which is perfect. So I've also got like this little mini timeline here. This timeline here is just for the selected clip. So if I pick a different clip, you can see it becomes selected. So I can go back to the beginning or the end of a clip very, very easily. So we'll scrub to the beginning. And then if we want to actually have a transition where something changes or starts a certain way and changes, we have to click the stopwatch. And you can see this adds a keyframe here. So this little fella here. So that is like defining the start point here with 100% scale. And if I scrub to the end, and if I change the value, so we'll go for like 110, you can see it adds another keyframe. And if I scrub between the two, you can see we just now got a zoom. Same works for position, rotation, opacity, whatever it is. If I click the keyframe again, it will just get rid of all the keyframes and undo it. But if I play this out now, you can see we've got a nice slow zoom. Funny boy.
Cal says, is it like a parent layer in the...
No, not parent layers. The equivalent in After Effects is compositions. So smart objects, compositions, and nesting in Premiere Pro, they're all very similar. So yeah, your nesting and sequence in Premiere would be your composition equivalent in After Effects. And again, just like in Premiere, you can have in After Effects a composition inside a composition inside a composition. parenting certain objects in After Effects is kind of like, if I just make a bunch of squares. Oh yeah, you can actually add basic shapes up here as well. So if you want to just block off something or have shapes, you can add them up there. So if I were to, in After Effects, if I were to parent this little square to this bigger one, like that, as I then move the big one around, this little one would follow it. That's kind of more what parenting is. Okay, we've got a nice little transition there. We've got a little, let me see if I can show you this thing. Right, I'm going to move the adjustment layer up out the way, and I'm going to lock it, just because I'm going to lock the music as well, just so I can focus on the clips. So this thing, I'm going to try and use this as a bit of a transition, really. So we'll see if we can use it. So I'm just kind of bridging these two clips with this. Now, if I play this out, it's going to look a little bit terrible. So what I'm going to do is press R and just speed it up like this. So it's really, you see what I did there? So it's just using similar footage to create transitions out of it. Let's try that. A bit quicker. Bit slower, that's fine. Or we could try it over here as well. Let's see if it will work here. Ah, that's good. That's much better. So because this shot here is moving and panning from right to left, that the motion of that shot kind of flows. You can see the shot is moving to the right, moving to the right. So it kind of makes sense. If it was going the other way, it wouldn't really work, but here it almost seamlessly blends. That's why I was saying at the beginning, grab the camera and just do a few shots where you flick it in every direction. Because if you've got like a shot that you want moving up or down or left, you'll have a quick half-a-second transition that you can use to kind of blend shots together. And to be honest, there's loads of different effect packs and transition packs and all sorts of craziness you can download on Envato. I think I've got an affiliate link in the description of the stream. Yeah, video templates. This is what you want to look at. Well, it's not just audio. They've got all these crazy text packs, and this is one thing I didn't utilize enough kind of early on. You know, they got transition packs. Is it going to play, or is my internet being a bit silly? Yeah, so you could learn how to create these transitions from scratch, but honestly, like, they're just all pre-built, these ones. You can download everything you can see, and it just obviously speeds everything up, but they're really well done. Whereas for me to create one of those transitions would take a lot of learning and practice. You know, you got, yeah, shake ones, glitch ones, drag and drop stuff. So to actually create really good looking video is a lot easier than you might think. So you can download these sorts of things and you just drop in your own text. And it just it makes life a lot easier. Right, so we've got a transition in there. We've got a, where's my zoom? Is it that one? So we're going to do another zoom at the start. So I'm just going to nest that, and we'll go zoom, opening shot, just give it a name. Scrub back to the beginning, check scale. We'll start at 100%, and then we'll go to, I mean, you could do like 150, but that would happen very, very quickly. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like a nice, slow opening shot. So we want to go maybe with 120. Still maybe a bit too fast. You can jump between keyframes here as well, which does make it easier. And let's zoom in on that one. Maybe not that much. Kind of throw it off center slightly. Yeah, maybe something like that. This one here, so this is a handheld shot. You might want the handheld look, but for me, I want to try and keep it still. You can see the wobble of the edge where I'm kind of holding it. So we could search for a very particular effect called warp. Warp stabilizer. I honestly don't use a lot of the effects. I really don't. A lot of the effects are actually, some of them are really useful like this. Some are just basic. They're really basic. They're just not that good. They need to add more here. DaVinci Resolve has got loads of actually good effects. Whereas for me, I wouldn't even bother with a lot of this. I would just download the effect packs, the ones I just showed you, because they're just pre-built, custom, amazing. Whereas like some of the transitions, like the barn doors one, it just looks a bit rubbish. There's no like motion blur or anything like that on it. So what's this? Warp stabilizer. So I'm going to drag this to the clip, and then it should be down here. So we could have smooth motion or no motion. So this one does, no, this one has no motion. That's what we want. So we want it to stay still. Yeah, look at that. So if I turn it off, watch in the bottom right corner, you can see a little bit wibbly wobbly. Turn it back on. You'll see down here, it just stays still. So if you've got a handheld shot, this is a really quick and easy way to get it steady. And then I've got a top-down shot somewhere as well. Okay, so I've got to reanalyze that effect. Can take a little bit. You see it's kind of doing the frames here, so it does take a little minute. A little bit of time to do. No, it's still, you can see, yeah, so on this one here, it does distort it a little bit in the background up here. So there is a little bit of, sometimes some clips will work better than others, but there is like a little bit of shenanigans going on in the background to try and preserve everything looking still. Method, let's try a different one. Position, let's just see how that looks. Yeah, it's not too bad. We'll try position. That's pretty good. So it might be a case of fiddling around with whichever one gives you the best effect. I think that one there, perspective, stops distorting that, but it keeps everything still. And I could use that in combination with a zoom as well. So if I use this in combination, so I'll do that, nest this clip, and then add like a slow zoom, you probably wouldn't even notice any of the distortion or the weirdness going on. So it's kind of a clever way to hide it. Yeah, exactly, Sunny. Yeah, pre-compose, it's the same thing, yeah. Yeah, we could do After Effects Schofield. Yeah, I think Warp Stabilizer's got a lot better as well, and it's gotten faster over time. So we'll try it again for this clip here. Now this one's actually moving. It's got my unsteady, shaky hand. So we'll go with smooth motion. We'll try the method being subspace warp, see how that looks. I mean, that is just insane. Look at the difference. We do a comparison. Up and down and just all over the place. Turn it back on. Way better. You could even play around with the settings more and try a different method as well, but that's more than good enough for me. This one here, again, it's a top shot. It's all handheld. So we're just going to try and stabilize that one. The intended result is no motion, so I want it to be still. And look at that. Just perfectly still and not a lot of distortion either. It's just ridiculous. So good. Wow, okay, let's try this one. See if it can stabilize zooming out. So I think I'm stepping backwards here. So smooth motion. We'll try that. Oh, that's insane. Look at it. So smooth. And it happens so quick as well. If there is some distortion happening, it's done a pretty good job actually. I can't really see it. We've got the zoom in here as well. Okay. All right, I think for this one, let's try something else. Okay, this is something I find quite hard. So what I'm going to do is I'm holding down Alt or Option here, and I'm using 2 fingers on the trackpad to just extend this up. So you can hover inside a particular track, and you can make it taller or narrower. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a backup copy of this in case I screw it up. We're going to right click and we're going to go show clip keyframes. And we're going to go to time remapping. And this is where you can enable something called speed ramps. Now, I still find this really confusing. You can do this up here. I find it so unintuitive compared to other ways to do it in other apps, but essentially what this means is we can start the clip really fast and slowly ramp it down, or we can ramp the speed up. So I want this to swing in here real fast, this first bit, and then I want it to just slow down and calm down. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the point where I want it to change its speed. So maybe here, I'm going to grab the pen tool and then click to add a point on this line. And what I can do now, this is where it gets really confusing, is I can separate these 2 halves. Nope, before we do that, essentially now if I grab the move tool again, the selection tool, sorry, now I've added that point. These 2 sides can be edited independently. So I could speed up one half and slow the other half down. So at the moment, they're both playing back at 100% speed. If I drag this up, I could swing this one in here at 400%. So it's going to fly in really fast and then go back to 100%. Now, obviously, that's a bit jarring. Flying in at 400 and then boom, back to 100%. So what we do now is we can separate this. This is why it's called speed ramping or whatever, is because it then gradually smooths out that transition. And we could even grab the handles and you could play around with this and make it a little bit more kind of like a smoother curve. So it comes in really quick. I think I might have to try and move the placement. So you can select them both with Shift and then hold Alt or Option and click and drag to move the position of the ramp. Sometimes it just looks a bit weird, so we're going to just try and adjusting the position. Is that like a sudden like head jerk or something? And we could bring it back in. That's a bit better. Yeah, so speed ramps can be so insanely powerful. If you have like a nice shot where you're zooming in, you can have it start, yeah, kind of like easing, but it's more about changing the speed and then blending that change between 2 different speeds smoothly. So you could, we could drag the speed ramp all the way out like this. But it's kind of hard in this shot. You'll see it a lot in like product shots. It can be put to really, really good effect. Yeah, so people can do, you can do some insane stuff with speed ramps, and it can just make normal shots seem awesome and epic and really cool. Okay, let's do another warp stabilizer. No motion. We'll see how it looks anyway. We might want some of the motion because it, oh yeah, that's got some weird distortion going on. We'll take it out there actually, because sometimes you want like a handheld shot, especially with this, you know, I'm playing with the cat. It feels a bit more personal. Whereas if you just take all the movement out of everything, it can look a bit clinical, I guess, a bit weird, a bit unnatural. So what we're going to do is add a cut there, and then we'll cut straight to the head shaky thing. And then we'll zoom that in. We'll punch in a bit more. So we've kind of got that, cuddle, 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 big head shake. And then finish there. A little mouth flick. There we go. So, right, let me go back to my list. I've totally gone off script. I get carried away. So we've got our title card. Oh, hang on. Whoops. Where are you? There you are. So we'll fade that in. We'll then have the text fade in as well. Got our adjustment layer at the top. That's got the color profiles on, so that's fine there. We don't need to worry about that. We could fade this one out and then add another transition here. So we could go back to transitions and try and find something. Light leaks. What does that look like? Yeah, we'll just use that for now. We don't need to spend ages finding the best transition in the world. And we've got some text in there. And you can do the same with text as well. So we could have this scale up or zoom in. So let's go back to the start. We'll choose scale, scrub forward, add a keyframe here. And then as I play this out, you can see the text fades in, but it's also scaling as well. There we go. And then the text kind of fades out as the light leak comes in. So that's kind of nice. And then After Effects. We were going to bring some After Effects in as well. So what can we do in After Effects? Oh yeah, we need a sound effect as well, don't we? We've got the lion roar. So let's drag this clip in. Where's the roar? There we go. It's going to be there. Little roar. So I'm just going to cut that, right click, add a default fade. There we go, that's fine. That just fades out nicely. And if I want to, I can actually select this and I could go to the gain, or I could just do it from the properties panel and I could just dial that down a bit if it's a bit too loud. Yeah, very cute. Yeah, doing all that sort of easing stuff and adjusting the velocity of things coming in and out is much easier in After Effects. I don't know, Raquel. Yeah, I would just love things to be more consistent. It would just, if there was like a visual language for how easing was handled between these two apps and it was done in a way that's easy to understand, it would just make things a lot easier.
A flying cinnamon bun.
A flying cinnamon bun. That's a great idea. Okay. Okay. I think this one will do. Let's we'll open up Photoshop first and then dump that into After Effects. This is a workflow that I do use quite a lot, going from Photoshop to After Effects to Premiere. So we'll do that here just because it's super useful. I can't wait to watch the whole thing. Has this been helpful? Hopefully it's been helpful. What else have I got on my list of things to do? Yeah, we'll get to exporting at the end. Lumetri color. We could try a voiceover, but it might cut my mic out. But we'll try it. We'll do a voiceover in a minute, actually. Okay, Photoshop. Cinnamon bun. It's a very low res cinnamon bun. So select all, cut out. Bun. We're going to right click, go quick export as PNG. What are you giggling at? Links, After Effects. Okay, if you're going to load up loads of stuff in After Effects, I actually usually have my own links folder for After Effects as well, because sometimes a project, like you'll probably see this in some of my older YouTube videos where I would have like a big animation at the beginning to introduce the video and what we're going to do, and examples of before and after would be sliding in and out. All of those animations take like quite a while, but they also have like their own sound effects, their own bits and bobs. So that's why I kind of have the After Effects thing as its own self-contained project inside the links folder, because then I build the After Effects animation and then plonk that in Premiere Pro. So it's got its own links folder, bun, and then I should. Have I made an After Effects file already? I think I have. There we go, crumble. And there we go, we've got our bun in there as well. Oh, that's true. That is very true, Rianne. Per.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
There we go. That'll do. This is going to be my masterpiece. I think I've made like nearly 1,000 videos on YouTube now, which sounds disgusting. Right, let's put that in audio, and then I'm going to bring that into the folder here. Cat per, there we go. Yeah, sometimes organizing files and things can get super out of control if you don't stay on top of it. Okay, After Effects. So we've got our After Effects. Again, we've got a project panel. There's a lot of similarities between After Effects and Premiere Pro and Photoshop. It's kind of a mix of both, sort of, with infinitely more functionality. So we've just, our timeline's just down here instead. We've still got our project window. We've still got our effect controls, and we've got our effects panel somewhere over here. So, okay, so we need to create a composition. This is kind of like a sequence in Premiere. So we're going to call it flying bun, bun, bun. I'm going to have this the same as the document size in Premiere Pro, just so I kind of know the scale. Frame rate, we're going to match that, 24. This is the duration of the animation. So we can always change this, but I know it's not going to be more than 10 seconds. Background color, you're not going to see this in the final render. So let's just pick anything. If you want to add like a solid color, you can do it up here and it will actually add that as a separate layer. So this is my composition now. And then I'm going to drag my bun into this. And we can adjust the scale here from the properties panel. Or you can twizzle this down and you've got the old way of doing it here. So, cool. How are we going to animate this? I mean, we could rotate it. Or we could just have it fly across the screen in a really silly way. So let's maybe, let's make a backup first of all, Dan, before you screw this up. So to start with, I think, yeah, we'll stick it out here, scale it down really small. We'll scrub forward for a 3-second animation. So we're going to scrub forward to 3 seconds here. And I forgot to add a keyframe. So we're going to go back, click the stopwatch to add a keyframe, just like in Premiere. And then we'll scrub forward and then just move this over here. Slightly different to Premiere, you can use the arrow keys to move things around. And we'll make it really big. We'll just move it here for now so I can see what I'm doing. So, and the problem so the problem here is I've only moved the scale because I'm an idiot. So we needed to, what we should have done is add one for position as well. So we're adjusting the position and we're adjusting the scale. And we're just going to adjust the position. So you can do it here with the values, or you can kind of quite literally just click and drag. And you can see it's kind of drawing a line as well. Now I've just got to remember how I adjust these handles and turn this into a Bezier curve. Because it always does it when I don't want to. But then when I actually want to. Is it this one? This might be it. I think this is going to make it bounce in. Ah, there we go. That's actually turned out really well. Oh my god, I got the bounce and everything. I never normally do this. I always just do pretty straight transitions, moving in, sliding out, zooming, that kind of stuff. Okay, so we're going to go to the end and I'm actually going to move this out the shot now. So it should come in and bounce. Now, one thing I would always do is turn on motion blur. So check this option here. This is motion blur, and turn it on or off globally here. So it's going to add some motion blur. It just looks so nice. And then we can also select all these keyframes, and an easy way to smooth everything out is just go easy ease, and it just will smooth things in and out. Now that does look a bit weird. It's a bit floaty. So let's maybe, actually no, maybe let's not have easing. Easing's great if you have a logo sliding in and then sliding out. I'll show you actually. Easing can be really, really cool. So if we go back to first bun, let's just say you have a logo that you want to slide in. So we're just going to add position keyframe. Here, we'll move it forward a little bit, and then we're going to drag it in. You know, this can look a bit rubbish. That looks crap, yeah? But as soon as you add easing, it looks smoother. And then what you can do is you can go into the graph editor and you can fine tune this even more. So we could have this thing rapidly come in. No, that's the wrong way around. This way. So it rapidly comes in and then it slows down towards the end. So it will slide in fast and then gradually come to a stop. So we could select these keyframes and go to keyframe velocity. And yeah, so this one here, 0, 100. I think I've done that the wrong way around, actually. Yeah, it's the other way around. So this is the incoming velocity. So we just crank that up to 100. It's going to fly in fast. Outgoing is the end of the transition. We want it slow. So there you go. It should flip it around the other way. So it will come in fast and then gradually stop. So easy ease is great. That's like a good first step to just smooth everything. But then you can go in and fine tune that a little bit more as well. And that makes such a difference. If the bun was just going to fly across the screen and go out the other side, I would say get rid of all the easing and just have it at a constant speed. Or if you're going to have something looping, you know, like something's rotating and spinning forever, you wouldn't want easing on that because it would slow down and then start back up at the end of every rotation. Whereas without the easing, it will just loop infinitely. But when it comes to having like text and images sliding in, easing, it makes a massive difference. And you just turn on a bit of motion blur and it's fantastic. So we've got our little bouncy one. There we go. Fantastic. So we've got our project. Yeah, I'm kind of hungry as well. All I've had today is some rice cakes with cottage cheese and honey. So where are we going? We're going into Premiere Pro. Oh, God, I've not even mentioned the courses today. Oh, all right, we'll get to that in a second. I need to do a better job of promoting them now I've actually made them. Right, back into Premiere. So let's organize all this crap. We've got sequences. Let's get this under control. We've got footage. So we've got the orange still. We've got audio. There we go. That's a bit better. And now we're going to double click and we're going to just drop in the actual After Effects file. And here we can choose our composition. So which one was it? Flying Bun Bun. So we'll choose that and it'll import it. And then we can drag this into the timeline and it will come in with transparency as well. So you can see here the cinnamon bun is being affected by that adjustment layer. So what I'm going to do is we'll bring this down and then we'll put the cinnamon bun above it. And let's turn the music back on as well. Then I can kind of push that down there, just so you can see the video preview. So there we go. We've got the bun flying in. Where does the bun fly in now? Maybe at the beginning, because we've got quite a long shot with nothing happening. Hey, bun! And there we go. We've got that full. We've got the full 10 seconds of our After Effects file, but we don't need all of that. But if we did go back in and we added more buns following after, we can always just extend that out. And it's brought that motion blur in as well. With motion blur, if I were to move that cinnamon bun faster and create more dramatic motion, you'd probably see a bit more of the blur. That would be like a really good transition actually. If we made this even bigger, the bun could become the transition. Could we do that? Would that work? Nah, let's leave it there. But we could have done a cinnamon bun transition, but that's fine. Right. We need a voiceover. We'll try this. It might cut the audio out. If it cuts the audio out again, but I'm getting the voiceover, we'll just keep going with it and I'll be back in a minute. But I'm just going to do a little voiceover. We'll make this up on the fly just to save time. So I've got no idea what I'm going to say. So I'm just choosing my input here. So this is going to be my USB mic. We'll just check it captures something. So click the thingy here. Testing 1 2 3 4 5. Testing 1 2 3 4 5. Perfect. All right. If it cuts out, I'll be back. Yes, it's a planned outage. Crumble started his day sitting on the sofa, thinking about what to eat. He was majestic. Oh, I'm fantastic. Panning shot. Oh, look at me roar. I'm so great. Ooh, Dad. Oh, this is nice. I love this. Goodbye. Okay, so I've got a preset for all of my audio stuff. Cool, that was stressful. My hands are sweating. I've never had to do a live voiceover, well, unless it's related to cheese. This preset here is with loads of audio stuff. So I've kind of set this up. I can't get into audio today. It's too much. I'm crap at audio anyway. But I'll show you quickly. So this is the raw voice. Let's turn that music off for a second. Day sitting on the sofa thinking about what to eat. He was majestic. Right, so let's go to effects. No, let's not actually. You can apply all the audio effects manually. So there's loads of these here and it's a minefield. If you're not good at audio like me, Essential Sound is great because what you can do is, well, just listen to this. Started his day sitting on the sofa thinking about what to eat. So first of all, we need that coming out of both speakers. So we can go to audio channels and we can just check left and right. He was majestic. Oh, I'm fantastic. So now we've corrected the audio, which is great. Enhanced speech. This option is generally very good. You can get a few weird bits in your audio, but you could take audio that you've shot outside on your phone and it would make it sound not podcast level, but very close to. Getting feisty in the chat here. All right, everyone, let's just take a minute and calm down here. Let's calm down. Crumble started his day sitting on the sofa thinking. I mean, that's insane. Like, listen, like that is insane. If you want more or less of the AI enhancements, you can dial it down. So it can sound a bit robotic and a bit tinny if you get a bit too about what to eat. It's pretty good, yeah. Loudness you can auto match. I think someone asked about -24 LUFS earlier, so you can click auto match and it will match the loudness. Majestic. Oh. Which is like a good for video standards.
Have a cup of tea and calm down.
No, you got to quote Shaun of the Dead. Let's all just head to the Winchester and wait for this to blow over. I want to watch that soon. Need a movie night. Oh, I'm fantastic. Yeah. So typically when using this enhanced feature, I would use that on its own. If you start messing around with all this other stuff, it can go horrible. But so let's just say we disable enhanced speech. There's lots of presets here. Podcast voice, we'll try that. Panning shot. Oh. Yeah, see, this is what I don't understand. Look at me. That sounds shit. That sounds really bad. That is not a podcast voice. So I don't know. I think these presets probably need a bit updating or something. Raw. This is cool. I'm so great. So yeah, you got some cool effects in a large room.
Oh, Dad. Oh, this is nice. Oh, I love this.
Yeah, these ones are useful. Over the intercom.
Goodbye.
That's cool. Podcast voice is awful, though. Background Walla Walla. What the hell is that?
Panning shot. Oh, look at me roar.
Clean up.
I'm so great. Oh, Dad.
Yeah, so play around with the presets at your own risk, but here you can reduce things like noise and rumble.
Panning shot. Oh, look at me roar.
That's pretty good. That's not too bad. auto match the loudness, so that'll bring it up to like a good standard for volume.
Oh, look at me roar.
Yeah, so you see -6 and -12 is usually pretty good. A good sort of spot to aim for. Vocal presence, we'll try that.
Panning shot. Oh,
Yeah, that just makes it worse. So honestly, if you're doing voiceover stuff, I would just pick the dialogue and I would go with where is it? Enhanced speech. This does a pretty good job. You can get into like lots of little bits and pieces, and I've spent far too much time doing audio. Like it's just not my thing. But this is my preset. Where is it? Yeah, so I've stacked up all these different effects, and these are kind of tailored for my setup as well. So there's a special plugin here. This is a paid thing that kind of gets rid of the like clicking sound that you can sometimes make with your mouth, especially when you're very close to the mic. Like if you're close to the mic and you're trying to get like a really clean voiceover, because by bringing your mouth closer to the mic, you're reducing the echo and stuff in the room. It sounds delicious, but you can unfortunately bring in some like mouth sounds. So that's good at getting rid of them. Parametric equalizer. EQing is just a minefield. De-reverb is just horrible. I don't understand it. I just follow tutorials and try and get the best I can. De-reverb is good if you've got like a lot of sound reverberating around your room, or if it's not audio treated, like this one kind of is a bit, but not really. So it just takes out a bit of the echo. De-esser, apparently that's good for something. I'm not sure what really. Like the I don't know. Denoise, that's good because I've got a studio light here that's just making like a humming noise in the background. If you've got air conditioners in the background as well, or just any background noise, that will help get rid of it. I don't think it does children though, unfortunately, which is annoying. Yeah, amplify makes it louder. Hard limiter stops you peaking. So if you were to shout into the microphone suddenly, what you can do with this is just stop it from ever going over a certain point. So you could limit it to one of these. And single band compressor. Oh, how do I explain that? I'm not sure. It's difficult. As a multi-band and a single band, it's quite hard to explain because a lot of the times, all of this is foreign to me. I just kind of follow tutorials to understand what on earth's happening. But this is how it sounds without all of these effects stacked. So if I just remove them for a sec. Started his day sitting on the sofa. Right. Let's do the channels. Sofa. Thinking about what? Yeah. So if we remove all of this. What to eat. He was majestic. You can hear the noise in the background. I'm fan. And then this is with all the effects applied. Sitting on the sofa, thinking about what to eat. He was majestic. It's okay. I'm sure an audio engineer or someone who's super good at audio and voiceovers would be like, what? But oh, I'm fantastic. Panning shot. So let's turn all the sound effects on. Oh, the purring. We didn't get the purring in there. What are you lot talking about? It started kicking off and now everyone's just having a nice cup of tea. Right, the purring is way too loud. Okay, I think we're ready for the big shebang.
Oh yeah, purring when he's having head scratches would be good.
Oh, okay. That's better actually. Is that Rianne? Yeah, she's full of good ideas. She's always got good ideas.
She's the cinnamon queen.
Cinnamon queen. Okay.
oh, this is
Okay, right. So now I have the pairing louder because it's just going to be that bit. The music's too loud. You can't have the voiceover, so we've got to drop that down. Nice. So we're trying to balance the audio here. Crumble started his day sitting on the sofa. That's quite a good balance, I think. I mean, I've got some studio reference headphones down there that are good for properly, but I'm using AirPods or what are these? Just earphones. What are these ones called? They're not AirPods, are they? Earpods. That one. Just no, the Apple thing. Anyway, earpod. I think they're earpods.
No.
Is it they're earpods, aren't they? And then the other ones are the wireless ones are your AirPods because one goes in your ear and one clearly goes in the air. Okay. This is it. This is the premiere now.
Oh,
Have I missed anything? I don't think so. I hope not. Probably.
will it be full screen?
Yes, it'll be full screen. You can change the quality here as well. So if you're struggling with playback on your computer, drop it down to 1/4 of the resolution, or if you've got beef, then just go full screen. Right, I think this is it. Crumble started his day sitting on the sofa. Oh, he's not even color graded. What's happened there, Dan? You've messed up the color grading, you idiot. Lock the layer. God, it's not a good start, is it? Flipping it. Wind it back. Right. Okay. Right, we're good. It's all right. Panic over. Crumble started his day sitting on the sofa, thinking about what to eat. He was majestic. Oh, I'm fantastic. Panning shot. Oh, look at me roar. I'm so great. Ooh, Dad. Oh, this is nice. Oh, I love this. Goodbye. Oh. I mean, considering half an hour before we started this, we didn't have any footage and no idea of what we were going to do. I'd say that's turned out pretty well, and hopefully we've covered Premiere Pro and Oscar worthy. Yeah, hopefully we've covered everything there. I just love the cinnamon bun. Well, we'll do one more. We'll do one more watch. I just love it. The music's perfect. Crumble started his day sitting on the sofa, thinking about what to eat. He was majestic. Oh, I'm fantastic. Panning shot. Oh, look at me roar. I'm so great. Ooh, Dad. Oh, this is nice. Oh, I love this. Goodbye. Beautiful. Okay, does anyone have any questions about Premiere Pro before we wrap up? And was this helpful? Was it good shit? Whatever. Just let me know if this was actually helpful. We could do more of this stuff if you like, or we could dive into After Effects or anything. That's a good point, Paul. Yeah, export. So what we could do is we could go to Project Manager now, and we could collect the files and copy them to a new location. You can choose what you include, where you're going to export it. It will calculate everything. And then you could, yeah, the project. So the sequence, yeah, we'll do all of them. And then this should copy everything. Yeah. So if your linked files are just all over the place, as long as they're correctly linked, it will pull them all together. And then you could just, turn this into a zip folder if you wanted to share the project. So that will kind of do its thing. And then exporting. Export media. Choose a location. Format H.264 is great. It's a good compressed format. Suitable for most YouTube videos. I've used it for years. You can adjust your sizing. Check those for more quality. You got your frame rate and your This is essentially the size of the sequence. So this is just pulling it from that field. Audio. Yeah, this is all fine. There's not a lot else we really need to do. Entire timeline, 27 seconds. Just export. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Oh, excellent, Waylon. Thank you. And you saved us about 30 minutes as well.
3 dreamies per hour.
Yeah, so there we go. We've got the final MP4. Fantastic. Panning shot. Oh, look at me roar. I'm so great. And there's the finished file. And we've got the packaged up project as well. Right, I should probably mention the courses now, seeing as I've failed to do that so far. So if you do want to learn Photoshop or Illustrator, I know it's not Premiere Pro, but if you want to learn Photoshop or Illustrator with me, or just enroll in all of them and learn everything, then I've got courses available for all of that. So this is the bundle here, and this will just teach you Photoshop and Illustrator, from installing the software for the first time to creating some of the most advanced stuff that I create. So if you like photo manipulation and you think, how on earth do you turn that image into that? Or, you know, product retouching and then putting it on a poster and then creating a mock-up. Web and UI design, that's spent probably most of my career doing that. I really need to teach more of that because I was pretty good at it.
Who did the hardest job on that course?
Who did the hardest job? What, you? Me, by far.
No, me.
No. No, you did not. You might have done a lot of editing and it might have been incredibly tedious. But you did not do more work on that course than I did. You could sod right off. Taking fonts and turning them into custom logo types, drawing all the letters from scratch. Technical diagrams, illustrations that just look delicious. Isometric logo design, just loads of stuff. There's a lot more, like in the Illustrator Masterclass and the Photoshop Masterclass. I think probably specifically Illustrator, there's more stuff about how to design things and design them well, you know? Those courses are more advanced and they assume that you know a lot of the basic tools. They're covered in the earlier courses. It's more about, okay, how do you apply different techniques to get better work? So this lesson here is very useful about using grid systems to make your end results better. Sexy effects, better 3D, because Illustrator's native 3D is a bit rubbish, but with Dimension it can look lovely. And oh yeah, we did a bit of animation as well. So in Photoshop I'm getting mixed up now. The Photoshop Masterclass, we create this entire composition here in Photoshop, but then we also animate it later on. So if you want to know how to make all of that from scratch, then that's just literally like one module and then one lesson, I think, a bit later on. So yeah, that's that. And if you've got any questions about that, do let me know. Oh, I'm so glad they're done now. I bet you are as well. Oh, it's so nice to just take all that stuff out my brain and like put it into like a product or a course and just say, look, there you go. You want to learn how I do all the things that I usually do on stream a lot. There it is. Poppy the unsung hero.
Replaced by AI. I want to be replaced by AI.
She's like, replace me.
Replace by AI.
Oh, funny. Oh. So yeah, if you do want to check any of those out, Dansky.com. I'll put a link in the chat, even though it's right there. If you do have any questions, hello@dansky.com. I'll be more than happy to help. and I'm gonna now play the trailer and go and get some food because I am flipping hungry. My PT's put me on a special food plan for like the next 5 days, and it's a very, very specific set of food, and it's bonkers. But it's very good for you, apparently. Haha.
Yeah.
You are irreplaceable.
Big smile.
Oh, hang on. Oh yeah, I can be big again. Why, hey! Oh, let's do another one. Da-da. Do-do. Oh, do-do.
Oh no, there's two of you.
Whoa, taking over. Yeah. Ba-bum, ba-dum. Ba-bum, ba-bum. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do. Oh, this is amazing. I'm so happy right now. Da 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 da. Do do do. Excellent. Right, I've had my fun. Oh, the star of the show! The star of the show.
Oh.
Oh, oh, Yo, you're famous now. There we go. Big baby. He's like Piano Cat, isn't he? Do 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 do. Oh, he's lovely. I know, he's just adorable. He is literally a baby. He's just, as long as he's like near me or near my face, everything's fine. He literally will come up to find me in the morning. If like, it's not even for food as well. He will actually come up and be like, Dad, where are you? Aren't you? Hmm. Yeah, he is adorable. You're famous now. Get off my cat. I feel sorry for anyone who's just joined the stream. If you've just joined now, like, what is happening? Oh no. Oh, funny. The cat's like, I've had enough. Right. I think you can always tell when it's the end. You can always tell. Everything, you know, you can tell when we've peaked. Please, somebody get this man a gun.
Ooh. Like, come on.
I've been watching a lot of John Wick lately. Oh, look at all these cat hairs. Look at this. Look at all this. What is this rubbish? Anyway, yeah, I mean,
Roll the tape.
I was going to say, I always play the course trailer usually, but I feel a bit stupid.
No.
I feel a bit stupid being an idiot and then saying, by the way, I have courses and I am a serious educator. I'm not just an idiot, contrary to what you might be able to see. But it's alright. You can make some Instagram content out of this or something.
No, I don't work for you anymore.
She's like, screw you. Ah, right. Yeah, this is fun. So I'm just, yeah, gonna play the trailer if you're interested. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.